Hello, good morning everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry there was no video yesterday. Unfortunately, my internet took a step back in time. If you guys remember when I had all the issues like 6-7 months ago, they came back yesterday. So somebody's coming out tomorrow to fix it. I was still having the issues. You can even see it in the edit when I lose connection there for a second today while I was trading, but was able to get some really good trades in today. I actually made $500 yesterday on some Tesla calls, but I didn't record it, so did it really happen for my account? Yes, but for you guys, no. So made some really good trades today, though. Some fun ones in today's video. A nice big P&L day. We nailed a trade early on. We're going to get into it. We're going to break it down. Let's trade. All right, so first trade today was on SPLK. You can see it alerting right below me on the positive intensity scanner, getting up into the 30s here. You can see it's popping up nicely off of 120, starting to move up towards that 125 mark, and that's kind of the spot that I picked looking at daily chart, other things, and the extension on the candles here on SPLK. Looking for a move through 125 to get started in this one. It's going to be smaller share size at 50 shares because it's moving multiple points at a time. So want to take it a little bit more safe on the share size with SPLK if it can get that 125 push. So it's popping up towards 125 here. You can see it hitting into the high 30s towards 40 here on the intensity scanner. Looking for that push through the 125 though. It's pushing up here. You can see on the ask getting right to 125 there. And it breaks through for just a minute. Doesn't get too much further through. I go ahead and put 50 shares out and get filled right there. 50 shares short at 125 on SPLK. So looking pretty good here. I really like the chart. It's nice and extended. There you can see where I lost internet connection for just a brief second. Clicked the OK button to acknowledge it and moved on. Luckily, it came right back. So now I'm looking at it, and we're coming down pretty much immediately. Go ahead and take half off right there at 123.50. So down to 25 shares now. Already got a point and a half out of the move back down in my direction. And at this point, I was a little indecisive of what I wanted to do at first. At first, I was thinking, all right, maybe if we break down through 123, I will just take the remainder of the 25 shares. But then I was like, no, this thing has the potential to move multiple points. So even with smaller share size, I can take smaller share size off and still get a little bit of money out of a more of a multiple point move. So that's when I load up 15 shares in my montage, in my order entry fields, if it wants to get back down and break down through 123. So after I check on ChargePoint, my long-term hold there that had nice earnings yesterday. But I go ahead and get ready with 15 shares if it's going to get back down under 123, which was below the previous candle where we took our first take profit. So if we can get under there, take some more profit off, get down to 10 shares, and see if the rest can start running a little bit from there. So hangs out here for just a second before it starts to come back down to the downside again. Starts pushing down 123.50s. 123.60s, pops back up 123.80. So eventually it does decide it wants to come down here and push that 123. There's a nice breakthrough, 123. I go ahead and get filled on those 15 at 122.82. So down to 10 shares now, and thinking that, well, I can probably even break this up into a 5 and 5. So if we get down below 122 now with 5 shares, I can go ahead and take another partial off here on SPLK. So that's kind of where that VWAP is sitting, so we can take some off there and not have much risk if it wants to bounce off the VWAP back up to the upside. So I get ready here, put 5 shares in there at 122, and we wait, and there's the break, get the fill there at 121.89 with those 5, and now we're pretty much just sitting golden here. It's just a matter of how much does this want to pull back with these remaining 5, and it starts pulling back fast and furious. You can see it's coming down towards 120. I'm like, okay, at this point, if this thing breaks under 120, I just got to take the remainder of it because that's a nice, huge move back to the downside in my favor. There it goes below 120. I get 119.80 something, and that's it. With 50 shares, making $108 here in SPLK, and this is a beautifully traded chart. Really, I liked this one. Next trade was an RIVN. You can see this thing's been kind of crazy up and down to start the morning. This is when the market first started turning over after the initial open, and we're seeing RIVN come down towards the lows here at 53. It breaks down through the lows. I go ahead and get long 50 shares here at 52.67. So this time a long, not a short, and I'm willing to add in on RIVN if it continues down through 52. So looking for about, another $0.50 there, a little bit more if I'm going to get the add in here on RIVN. And it's a long, and the market's coming down strong, so I'm not going to look for a ton out of this one. So I'm looking at the range, I'm looking at the candles, I'm like, okay, I've only got 50 shares. It's a long. I hate longs. The market's coming down. If this thing pops back up towards, say, the 53.20s, which is just below the previous candle, it's about a 50-cent move. I'll go ahead and put an order out there to just take this one off at a smaller gain. So I put the order out there at 53.20, seeing if I can get the sell out there for the whole 50 shares. I don't think really at this point with what the market's doing that taking partials is the right thing to do, because it may just be a little bit of a dead cat bounce here and then continue back down to the downside. So sitting out there at 53.20, pops up and almost fills me right there, got right to me. I'm like, yeah, okay, give it another minute or so. It's back down below 53, so I'm trying to see if it can pop back up through that 53 range. I think if it gets back up through 53, I've got a decent chance of getting filled there at 53.20. There it's back up through 53.13s. I got 7 cents or so to go. 17s, 18s on the bid, on the ask, I'm sorry, and we get filled there for plus $26. So, nice little easy trade there on that one. Nothing much to it, not a big win, but add in a little bit of money into the account on the day. Then a long time went by, and I was about to close up shop when bros started popping, when the market started popping on some rate hike news, I believe it was, something like that. I didn't quite read the whole story, but so bros starts popping huge here. The only thing with bros is if you look at my level 2, it is hard to borrow, so I had to get locates on this one. They weren't too expensive. I think it was $1 per 100, something like that. So I go ahead and buy those, and I get short my first allotment here at 45.71, and it just keeps ripping right off the bat. You can see it screaming on the scanner below me up into the 30s once again. So I'm like, okay, we're up through 46. See if we can get up through the 46.20s here. I go ahead and I locate and purchase another 100 shares that I'm able to short now. It gets up through the 20s. I put the order out here at 46.39. Get that. I'm now 200 shares short at 46.05, and it just rips. It is looking beautiful. We're up into the 40s now on the scanner, and I'm go ahead and I buy 200 shares this time, looking for that 112 as I do, and I buy them, but then I make the mistake of only shorting another 100 shares, because as you can see, I'm now up to 300 shares total. It goes a little bit further. I realize that I'm like, okay, fine. I still got room here. I can add in what I intended plus a little bit more, add in 300 more shares here up through this top move if I want to. We're still well controlled on where the P&L potential is. So I go ahead and add in those 300 shares, get my average right to 47, and we're having right around where I kind of want max loss on the day, right around that $500 zone. So, right where we want to be. We've got good share size, 600 shares. The only part of this trade that I didn't do great on was I certainly could have been more patient with the exits here, but it was late in the day. I was about to leave anyway, so it was kind of an unexpected trade. So I go ahead and I get ready with 500 of the shares. If it comes down below 46.90, I'm going to take those off and then see if I can make money with the other 100 shares that would then be left over. So there's the move under. I get the fill there at 46.90. Unfortunately, didn't get lower than that. So now I've got 100 shares left over short, and we're going to see if those can move down through the 46.50s, which will then be the ones that are actually making me the money on this trade. And so it pretty much does it right away. Moves down towards 46.50, gets under there. I go ahead and readjust my order at 46.39. I put it out there at 46.39, and it only takes another second or two before I get the fill there per plus 104. And this thing actually came down back towards 45 completely. So could have done better there on bros, but an unexpected extra $100 on the day is always appreciated. So a good trading day today combined with a good trade yesterday that you guys weren't able to see is already well into the green now on March after starting out with that red day the other day. I do have internet people coming tomorrow to work on it, so will I be able to trade or not? I don't know. It depends on what time they get here tomorrow, but that stuff will all be over on Twitter. I post everything that you guys aren't able to see here on Twitter, like the options trade yesterday for the plus 500. That's over on Twitter if you follow me at Garage Day Trader. So appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I'll see you later.